What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, made by BJax. I'm Brittany Jackson, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this super sexy Bustier corset top. I would like to preface that this tutorial may be better suited for crocheters with a little bit of experience. This might be more on the intermediate side, just because you do need to be able to recognize your stitches very well whenever it comes to making this pattern. Here's a quick look at all the materials I used to make this project. Before we begin, I'd like to show you this chart that I'll be referring to a few times while we're making the bra cups. For this tutorial, I'm going to be following the instructions for a size small. However, if you're looking to make another size, I have the instructions here for you. I did go ahead and make small, medium, and large bra cups here from left to right. The small ended up measuring about 6.5 inches wide. The medium was about 7.5 inches wide, and the large one was about 8.5 inches wide. So you can kind of see a pattern here with the chart and the instructions for every size. So follow along with me. All the instructions are going to be the same up until row 10, and then you're going to do your own thing. So go ahead and grab your yarn. Let's make a slip knot. Also, please excuse my busted up fingernails. It is wintertime and dry season. I cannot help it. I'm also busy. Cut me some slack. To begin, chain 2. Our first row is going to be an increase row, so leave 3 single crochet into the first chain we made. Our second row is going to be just a regular row, so chain 1, turn your work, and leave 1 single crochet on top of every stitch, so you should end up having 3 single crochet for row 2. Row 3 is an increase row, so chain 1, turn your work, insert 2 single crochet into the very first stitch, 1 single crochet in the middle, and then 2 single crochet on the last stitch. You should have 5 single crochet total. Row 4 is a regular row, so chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet into every stitch. You should end up having 5 single crochet total for row 4. Row 5 is an increase row, so chain 1, 2 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in every stitch until you reach the end, and the last stitch will have 2 single crochet as well. You should have a total of 7 single crochet. Row 6 is a regular row, so chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet 7 times down this row. Row 7 is an increase row, so chain 1, turn your work, leave 2 single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet all the way down, and then 2 single crochet in the last stitch, leaving you with 9 single crochet total. Row 8 is a regular row, so chain 1, turn your work, and leave 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way down, leaving you with 9 single crochet total. Row 9 is an increase row, so chain 1, turn your work, leave 2 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in all the stitches until the end, and then 2 single crochet in the last stitch, leaving you with 11 single crochet total. So this is going to be our last increase row for a size small. If you are also making a size small, then continue following along with me. We just left off at row 9, so if you're a size medium, then you're going to have 2 more rows left to add. If you're a size large, then you'll have 4 more rows, and an extra large, you'll have 6 more rows, continuing the pattern between increase and regular rows. No matter what size you're making, though, you have to finish on an increase row before we continue. So from here, we are going to add 4 more regular rows. So I just left off with 11 single crochet on my increase row, and I'm just going to go ahead and go back and forth 4 more times with 11 stitches on every row. So for a size medium, your 4 rows are going to consist of 13 stitches on every row, size large is 15 stitches, and an extra large 17 stitches, and so on and so forth. I just finished my 4 regular rows. Next we're going to start decreasing. So for row 14, chain 1, and we're going to start our decrease by inserting our hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, and then insert our hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3. Single crochet in every stitch until you have 2 stitches left at the end. When you have 2 stitches at the end, you're going to do the same thing, so insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the last stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3. For the size small, there should be 9 stitches total. Our next row is a regular row, so just chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet once into every stitch all the way down. You should end up having 9 single crochet total for this row, if you're making a size small. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage for the rest of this portion of the bra cup. You're just going to continue alternating between decrease rows and regular rows, and I'll meet you whenever you have 2 rows left to show you how to finish this portion off. Alright, I have 2 more rows left. I just left off with 5 stitches. So next we're going to do this decrease, leaving me with 3 single crochet total for this row. Now for my very last row, I'm going to decrease into all 3 of these single crochets. So insert your hook and pull up a loop into all 3 stitches. You should have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. So you should have a shape that looks something like this football or eyeball type of shape. Next, we're going to single crochet all the way around this shape, and then we're going to build the bra cup upward. For this next part, it's important to consider how many rows it took to make this shape. So for my size small, it took me 21 rows. So that means I need to leave 21 single crochet along one side of this shape. So what we're going to do from here is chain 1, and we're only going to be working on these rows where there's humps that you can see, and we're going to leave 2 single crochet on these rows. So if you can see where these little humps are mapped out, that's where we're going to be crocheting. So I'm going ahead and leaving 2 single crochet in my first row, and I actually want to get my stitch marker here and mark that very first single crochet I just left. And now continue. So on the next hump row, we're going to leave 2 single crochet. So this is 3, 4, next row, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm leaving my 21st stitch right here on the end. Here's what your work should be looking like so far. Next, we're going to do pretty much the same thing on the other side. So chain 1. And on the rows with the humps, we're going to leave 2 single crochet. I'm also crocheting over this tail so that I don't have to weave it in later. And again, I'm aiming for 21 stitches on this side. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage for the rest of this and meet you towards the end. I've just single crocheted 20 times and I have my last stitch I need to leave here, so I'm just single crocheting right here on the end. And this is what your work should be looking like so far. Next, we're going to build on top of the bra cup. So we had 21 stitches on both sides for this size small. So what we're going to do next is chain 1. I'm going to remove the stitch marker, leave my first single crochet into that same stitch, and single crochet all the way down until I have another 21 stitches. If you're a size medium, you're going to leave 25 stitches. For a size large, 29, and extra large is 33. I just finished leaving 21 single crochet along the top of my bra cup, and this is what my work looks like so far. Next, we're going to be alternating between decrease rows and regular rows. So chain 1, turn your work, and leave a decrease in the first 2 stitches. Single crochet into every stitch until you have 2 more left at the end, and then you'll leave a decrease in those last 2 stitches. If you're doing a size small, there should be 19 stitches total for this row. Right now I'm leaving my decrease stitch here at the end. Next is a regular row, so chain 1, turn your work, and just single crochet into every stitch all the way until the end. For this size small, there should be 19 stitches total. The next row is a decrease row, so chain 1, turn your work, decrease into the first 2 stitches, single crochet into every stitch until you have 2 stitches left, and then decrease in those last 2. For this size small, there should be 17 stitches total. The next row is going to be a regular row, so I'm just going to leave 17 single crochet all along this row. Now this is going to be the last row that I add to the top of my bra cup. If you are looking to make a size medium or large, I would add 2 more rows. For an extra large, I would add 4 more rows. Alright, here's what my work is looking like so far. The next thing we're going to do is add a row of single crochet all along the bottom of this bra cup. So from here, go ahead and chain 1, and we're going to skip this first row, the last one we did, and single crochet into the row underneath that. and continue single crocheting into every row and stitch all along the side. I'm even leaving a single crochet right here in this chain space, so don't forget to do that. I've reached the other corner of my bra cup here. I'm leaving my last single crochet, and what I'm going to do is insert my hook into the top of this last stitch and leave a slip stitch. And that completes our first bra cup. Go ahead and chain one and cut your yarn. I didn't show that part on the camera, but you're going to make a second bra cup, and do not cut your yarn on that one. After you've made your second bra cup, make sure they have the same exact stitch count. I ended up with 34 stitches at the bottom of both of these bra cups. Next, we need to figure out how far down we need to crochet to start adding this portion that goes underneath the armpit. So what I do for this size small, I count down 10 single crochet. So skip this first slip stitch and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm going to leave my stitch marker right there. If you are making a size medium, you're going to count down 12. For size large, 14, and an extra large, count down 16. After we build out this little armpit area, we're going to start building underneath the entire bra cup, and we're going to have to know where to stop single crocheting over here on the side. So what I like to do is count down 8 stitches, skipping this corner slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going to leave a stitch marker in this 8th stitch. For a size medium, leave your stitch marker on the 10th, size large, 12th, extra large, 14th stitch. If you have 2 extra stitch markers, go ahead and do the same thing on the other bra cup, but make sure that it's mirror image. So I'm leaving my stitch marker on the 8th stitch on the right side and on the 10th stitch on the left side. To begin the armpit part, go ahead and insert your hook, chain 1, turn your work. We're going to skip this first slip stitch and single crochet into that next stitch. Single crochet all the way down until you reach your stitch marker. So I should have 10 stitches total. I'm leaving my 10th single crochet here, and I'm actually going to leave that stitch marker hanging out right there this whole time. Next, chain 1, turn your work, and repeat the same thing, single crochet in every stitch until the end. Row 3, you're going to repeat the same exact thing. I'm going to go ahead and do 10 more rows off camera, so I'm going to have 13 rows of single crochet total. Here's what it looks like after I finished 13 rows. Make sure that your hook is at the bottom and not the top of this bra cup, because we need to start working underneath all the way down to this stitch marker. So that's what we're going to do next, is single crochet all along the bottom here. To begin, chain 1, single crochet into every row until you reach the bra cup. So there should be 13 stitches here because there were 13 rows of single crochet. I've approached my stitch marker and I'm just going to go ahead and take that out. We don't need it anymore, and I'm going to skip over that stitch and continue single crocheting all along the bottom until I reach my next stitch marker. That completes our first row of building on to the body section. Next, we're just going to add 4 more rows of single crochet back and forth. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed up the footage for the next 4 rows. I've just finished all 5 rows of the body portion. This is what my work is looking like so far. Next, we're going to begin tapering down this section of the body. So we're going to single crochet 18 times, and on the last stitch it's going to act as a decrease stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that now. So chain 1, turn your work, single crochet in the next 17 stitches. For our 18th stitch, we're going to do a decrease in the next 2 stitches. And there you go, you have 18 stitches. Next, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, begin with a decrease. And then single crochet down the rest of this row just like normal. So we're just going to continue this pattern where we only decrease on this side of the corset, maintaining a straight line over here on the inside of the corset. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage for the rest of this portion until I have about 2 rows left so that I can demonstrate how to finish this off. Alright, I have about 2 rows left. I have 3 stitches remaining. So I am leaving 1 single crochet and a decrease in the last 2. My last row, I'm going to chain 1 and just do a decrease in these final 2 stitches. Here's what your work should be looking like so far. You can go ahead and stretch this out and straighten everything out. I wish that I had time to block this to make everything straight and so that there's no creases, but I didn't have time for that for this tutorial. But if you have time for it, that'd be cool. Next, we are going to single crochet all along the side of this corset. Then we're going to go around the corner along the top of the bra cup. Then we're going to make a strap, and then come back down, and then continue single crocheting along the top. And then we're going to make inserts for straps around the back. And that's where we're going to stop. We're going to leave like a raw edge on this side, no single crochets. We're just going to keep that the way it is. Before we begin single crocheting, let's figure out where our strap is going to go. So I'm going to find the middle stitch here on my bra cup. I'm just pinching my thumbs and finding the center stitch. After you've found your center stitch, you're going to move one stitch over closest to the armpit. That's where you're going to leave your stitch marker, and then you're ready to go. Go ahead and reinsert your hook, turn your work over, and chain one. Next, we're going to single crochet in every row all the way until we reach our bra cup. Continue single crocheting along the inside of the bra cup. I've approached this chain corner space, so what we're going to do is chain one, skip over that chain space and single crochet on top of the bra cup. And then we're going to continue single crocheting until we reach our stitch marker. Leave one single crochet in the space where the stitch marker is. And from here, we're going to chain 81. After you've chained 81, go ahead and single crochet into the second chain from the hook and all the way down into every chain until you reach the bra cup again. I've just finished single crocheting all the way down my chain and I've approached my bra cup again. So what we're going to do here is insert our hook in that same stitch and then back through the next stitch. Yarn over and pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through two. And then we're going to single crochet again in the next stitch. I hope that made sense. Next, continue single crocheting along the top of this bra cup and along the top of the corset until you reach the other corner. I've reached the corner, so I'm going to leave a slip stitch right here on the very end. Here's what my work is looking like so far. Next, I'm going to chain up 4, skip the first stitch, and double crochet in the stitch after that. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the stitch after that, and repeat until you reach the end. I ended up having 7 chain spaces here, so 7 squares for me to have lace inserts. Next, chain 1, turn your work, and then single crochet into every stitch and chain space all the way until the end. Once you've reached your last chain space, you're going to leave 2 single crochet, and this completes 1/2 of our corset. So chain 1, cut your yarn, and let's get started on the other half. All the instructions are going to be the exact same for the other half. So let's go ahead and insert our hook into this far corner chain space that doesn't even count as a stitch. Grab your yarn again and create a slip knot. And we're going to latch that onto our hook and tighten it. Next, pull that loop through. Oh my gosh. Chain 1. And then we're going to try to work over this tail so we don't have to weave it in later. Single crochet into the next stitch, and then continue single crocheting into every stitch all the way down until you reach your stitch marker. For this size small, I'm going to have 10 single crochet total. For size medium, you should have 12. Size large, 14. And an extra large is 16. So that completes our first row of the armpit section on our second half of our corset. So go ahead and do 12 more rows so that we can have 13 rows total of single crochet, and then I'll see you whenever we get to that point. Here are all 13 rows of single crochet. Next, we're going to single crochet all along the bottom here until we reach the opposite stitch marker, and we're going to do that for 5 rows. After you've finished all 5 rows of single crochet, we're going to begin tapering the torso now. So single crochet 18 times. On the 18th stitch, it's a decrease, and continue that pattern all the way until you're done. Here's what your work should look like after you've finished all 18 rows of those decreases. Next, we are going to single crochet all along the side and then around the top, do the strap, back down along the top, and then those inserts on the side. But don't forget, we need to find where that middle stitch is. So go ahead and locate where your middle stitch is on your bra cup, and then move over 1 stitch closest to the armpit. Leave your stitch marker there. So now we're ready to begin single crocheting along the side. So chain 1, leave 1 single crochet in every row until you reach your bra cup. Just try your hardest to make sure that you are leaving the same exact stitch count on the inside of your corset, just like the other half. You want to make sure you have the same exact stitch count, because whenever you lace this up in the front, it's going to be really wonky if your stitches don't match. The rest of this is going to be exactly the same as the first half. We're going to chain 1 and single crochet along the top of our bra cup until we reach our stitch marker. Then we're going to chain 81 and single crochet all the way back down, and then I'm going to show you how to connect that strap back to our bra cup. So if you need to see this again, what we do is insert our hook into that same stitch and then back through the next stitch. Yarn over, pull loop through, yarn over, pull through 2. Single crochet again into that next stitch, and then continue single crocheting along the top of your bra cup and the top of the corset until you reach the opposite corner. Then you're going to do your little inserts for the lace up on the side. Here is what everything looked like once it was done. This is so cute. You could call this finished, like as is if you want, but we want to add our little detailing, so I'm using this red scrap yarn. Now the instructions for the next part, I'm going to admit I'm not that great at doing crochet overlay, but I'm going to do my best to demonstrate my method here to make it as easy as possible. So let's get up close here. What I'm going to do is map out the path that I'm going to make my stitches. So I'm starting over here, and as you can see, this perfectly curved row of single crochet, this is the row that I'm going to follow my path on. So what I also like to do before I start is I like to insert my hook into every stitch space that I'm going to be pulling my yarn through. So that's pretty much what you see me doing here. I'm just making sure I have a really clear path set out in front of me for all of these overlay slip stitches that I'm about to do. So whenever I do overlay slip stitches, I always work from right to left. So I'm just using my hook to follow my path back on over to the right side and remembering where I need to insert my hook. So go ahead and grab your other yarn, create a slip knot, and latch it onto your hook. Pull that slip knot through, and then we're going to chain 1 to attach our yarn there. Next, we're going to begin our path underneath this stitch all the way down. We're going to be working with our yarn underneath our project, so this is what makes it tricky. You can either hold your yarn with these 2 fingers and try to keep it back here, or you can twist your yarn around your index finger to hold that tension. But yeah, I like to bunch my fabric up here, insert my hook underneath, scoop that yarn up and make a slip stitch. Insert my hook into the stitch underneath, scoop it up and make a slip stitch. Now it is very important to try to leave your slip stitches a bit loose right here, because once we're done with this row, we're going to slip stitch back over this. So I'm accidentally going a little bit too tight on this side. I wish that I had slip stitched a little bit looser. It would have made the next row a lot easier. So I suggest that you guys do that. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the footage just a little bit right here so we can make it through this row. I just don't want this video to take forever, but I do want you to see what I'm doing clearly, and if I go too fast, it just looks like a jumbled mess, so check it out. Right here, I've reached the point where it has become very hard for me to reach my yarn all the way underneath that portion of my bra cup with my little bitty fingers. And yeah, I'm just struggling. So if you are also struggling during this part, then I'm very sorry. I wish I could provide an emotional support hotline for this part, but that doesn't exist. So I'll just talk you through it with these nice, encouraging, soothing affirmations. You're an amazing crocheter. You're gonna get this done, and it's gonna be beautiful. After you have done your overlay slip stitches through hell and back, and you have reached the end here, we are going to chain 1 to finish this row off, and then we are going to slip stitch on top of this right back around to the other end. So from here, try to insert your hook under both of those loops. Once again, struggling. And just slip stitch, and do this into every stitch all the way around until you reach the other end. Also, I just want to note that if you have accidentally stitched too tight, just like I did, it's okay. Your work is still going to turn out just fine. It's just going to have to be stretched out a little bit for you to loosen it up. So yeah, this row took me a little bit, so I finished the rest of it off camera. But this is what it looked like whenever it was finished. All I really have left to do is leave one last slip stitch, and then I'm chaining 1, pulling my yarn through. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here, and since I have these 2 straps, I'm going to tie a knot, and there you go. Alright, for the next part, we need to map out where we're going to do our overlay single crochets. So if you can try and see where these this football shape is, we're going to try and work into the single crochet row above that. So I'm going to start mapping this out with my crochet hook now. Since this is going to be single crochets and not slip stitches, we're going to have to anchor our hook and be able to pull up a loop to leave a single crochet. So this is the path that I'll be taking, and it's pretty clear to me. Hopefully that you guys get the gist of it. Next, I'm locating a slip stitch over here on the side where I believe it's right next to the path I'm about to take. I counted down 6 stitches for mine. So that's where I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to grab my yarn now, create a slip knot, and latch that onto my hook. Pull that yarn on through, and I'm also going to try to work over this tail so that I don't have to weave it in later. So next, I'm inserting my hook into this row of single crochet and back on up through, leaving 1 single crochet. Let me tighten the tail so that it's not too lumpy over here on the end. Now, moving over 1 space, doing the same thing, and trying to maintain all of my stitches on the same row. It can be really easy to accidentally navigate to the row above or the row below, but if you just pay attention and try to follow along with all of your stitches and stay on the same path with your single crochets, you'll do just fine. I'm leaving my last overlay crochet. So here I'm just moving some of these stitches over so that there's not too much of a gap. And now I'm going to connect this to that row of slip stitches. Chain 1, pull your yarn through and cut it. And there you go, there is your detailing. So all we have left to do is the same thing on the other half of our corset. So all I'm going to do is just like map this out and do the same exact thing. I'm going to do this off camera and meet you whenever we're done. Alright, check them out. All we have left to do is weave these tails in, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that at super speed because it's a pretty simple part of the whole project. Here's what she looks like with everything all cleaned up and weaved in. It looks so good. Next, we have to make a strap of 180, and you're going to leave the tails on because this is the front strap, and we're going to use those tails to lace this up. So what I'm doing is inserting my hook into this 3rd stitch and pulling my yarn through and inserting my hook into the 3rd stitch on the opposite side and making sure everything's even. Now I'm just counting 4 stitches down and zigzagging every 4 stitches back and forth from the opposite strap, making this corset-like closure. This is why I mentioned earlier that you need to have the same exact stitch count on both sides of your corset, because if you end up having an extra stitch left over at the end, it looks a little weird. And finally, the very last step is making our back strap, and I did a chain of 250 And I also tied my knots on both ends already. And I'm gonna go ahead and strap this bad boy up. If you haven't already tied your knots at the end of your straps on the front, go ahead and do that and cut off any of your excess yarn. And now she's officially done! If you made it all the way to the end of this tutorial, then I am super proud of you, and I'm super curious to see what your creation looks like. I want to see everybody's color combinations, and I want to see you wearing it. And I want feedback on this pattern for any improvements, and if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to me. And one last thing, don't forget to like and subscribe. Love y'all.